Test wireless 6.
Good morning. My name is Peggy Lagodny, and I'm a worship associate of this congregation, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Cleveland. It's good to see everyone this morning. Welcome. We come from different places, different religions, different beliefs, and different backgrounds. Welcome. We come here for different reasons: to find community, to seek spiritual and personal truths, to question, to nurture heart and soul, to be nurtured, to explore new ideas, to find comfort, and perhaps to find the answers to some of your bigger questions. We hope you find comfort, connection, challenge, and love here. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, you are welcome. We especially welcome any guests who are worshiping with us for the first time today, either with us here in the, either with us here physically or joining us in the cyber world. If you're interested in more information on who we are, we invite you to fill out one of the guest cards in the pew rack in front of you. You can place that card in the offering plate when it comes around later in the service. If you're watching from an internet platform, you can go to our website, which is uucleveland.org. We do have a little housekeeping. COVID is still around, so what we're asking is, on the back of your order of service, there's a little QR code. If you would put in for the COVID tracking, if you don't have a cell phone with you, that little bit.ly link, take that home and you can do it at home. And since we're about to enter sacred space, if you would take a moment, please, to silence any audible alarms or cell phones. Now, would you please join me in the words of our chalice lighting? The words are on the yellow card. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth and love, and to help one another.
We are called to worship this morning by the words of Kathleen McTeague. We come together this morning to remind one another to rest for a moment on the forming edge of our lives, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude, taking the time to look into one another's faces and see their communion, the reflection of our own eyes. This house of laughter and silence, memory and hope is made holy by our presence together. In just a moment we're going to sing, but I invite you first to welcome one another this morning. Especially if there's somebody you don't recognize, be sure to say hello.
Our opening hymn is number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. Please sing along as the Spirit moves you. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are are blessed with love and amazing grace when our heart is in a holy place. When we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace when our heart is in a holy place. When we share the silence of sacred space and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
Today's collection will benefit the Kent State May 4th Visitor Center. The tragic events of May 4th, 1970 had a profound impact on Kent State University, the nation, and the world. In the ensuing years, Kent State's learning community has honored the memories of the 4 students who lost their lives with an enduring dedication to scholarship that seeks to prevent violence and promote democratic values from public service to civil discourse. The May 4th Visitor Center is a museum created by Laura Davis and Carol Barbado, both of whom were students at Kent State University on May 4th, 1970. The Visitor Center tells the story of events that unfolded on the campus from May 1st through May 4th of 1970, leading up to the deaths of 4 students. After 10 years and thousands of students and public visitors, they're currently refreshing the May 4th Visitor Center by updating their exhibits, technology, and walking tour. So please give generously, but within your means. Thank you.
I invite you to read with me the acceptance of gifts that's on the yellow pew card. It's one of the unseen by a lot of people, the unseen ways that we use our resources. A lot of our justice work doesn't appear in our budget. There was a budget review this morning. Some of you may have attended that, but a lot of the justice work that we do, a lot of the financial contributions that we make toward the larger community, it doesn't show up in our budget, but it winds up being an incredible amount of money that this community offers to the larger neighborhoods around us, to the larger city, to the larger world, because we see that there are organizations that care about the same things that we care about. And so we accept these gifts with the words on your pew card. We offer these gifts with gratitude, and we acknowledge the constant gifts of time, talent, and treasure that strengthen and nourish this congregation as a reflection of our commitment to community within and without, our purposeful spirituality that is ever searching and growing, and our intentional actions that lead to greater justice in our congregation, our city, our nation, and our world.
We're going to do something a little different today. And this is an activity that Reverend Randy and I have titled Sing It Out. And it's kind of, anybody ever done any circle singing before? Okay, a couple. This feels a little too hot. So we're going to try circle singing, but without the circle. So we're right, it's rectangle singing. So we'll still make it work. And the idea is we're going to create some original music right now that we're all going to do together. I'll write some of it, you can write some of it, and we'll just see what happens. So I'm going to offer you some different suggestions on ways to make music. You can follow those suggestions. You can come up with some of your own instead. You can choose to just kind of let everything wash over you and be a non-participant in the act of music making. All of these are acceptable options for you. So if you're game for this, if you're ready, I would invite you to stand up because there's going to be some motion here too. And I'm going to split up the pews here, and I'm going to say everybody from here forward. My good friend Leon, from here forward, you're going to be A, and then everybody from here forward, you're going to be B, and then C is right back here, and D is right here. So A, B, C, D. So and I'm going to start with group A, and then I'm going to move to group C because I feel like it. But everybody's going to have a chance, and like I said, you can do what I suggest, or you can do something entirely different, and I encourage you to be creative. So group A, here's what we're going to do, and let's use the sound boom, and we're going to do like so. And if you want to move, then move. It goes like this: boom, 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 boom. Boom. Keep that going nice and steady. Boom. All right, C. We're going to do a percussion thing on the front of your pew. D. All right, no offense. D. I'm going to start with you. Okay, so D. Here we're going to do like this. Pa, 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 pa. Pa, 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 but on the pew. Pa, 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 pa. Pa, pa, pa. Pa, 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 pa. All right, we're going to add a foot stomp to keep you steady on the beat. So pa, 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 pa. Stomp. Pa, pa, pa. Pa, 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 pa. Wait for it. Stomp. Pa, pa, pa. Pa, 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 pa. Wait. Stomp. Pa, pa, pa. All right. Now it's your turn, C. Bloom. 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 Like a flower. Bloom. Bloom. All right. I haven't forgot you, bees. Okay. So we're going to do way, oh, way, oh. Way, oh, way, oh. Way, oh, way, oh. Now, if you want to branch off, do something different. Bloom. Bloom. All right. A, you're done. All right. All right. Thank you. Please be seated.
Fun. Isn't it amazing how we can create something? None of you, I don't think, would be able to do all of that at once. There's too much happening for one person to do all of that at once. And yet when we work together, we can create that whole complex sound. We're doing things a little bit out of our usual order. Some of you may be really uncomfortable with that, and I'm okay if you are. But today we're going to do a bit of a spiritual practice, and there's going to be some stillness to it. So we wanted to have a little bit of fun and give you a chance to move around a little bit before we were going to be still and maybe a bit introspective. And I want to invite you to go ahead and just find your gray hymnal and turn to page 352. We're not going to sing it yet, but after a time of stillness, it'll be right there ready for you when we get ready to have that sung meditation. The spiritual practice that we're doing today is called a welcoming reflection. Sometimes people would call it a welcoming prayer, and it comes out of the Jesuit tradition. It's not really an old practice, but it comes out of some writings that were from an 18th century Jesuit priest that have been kind of adapted and modified and interpreted over time. So we're not going to use the same words that a Jesuit might use, but if there are words for the divine that are more comfortable for you at some place in this, in your reflection, that's your reflection. Use whatever mental words are going to be meaningful to you. But the first thing that we do in a welcoming reflection is we just stop and feel what we're feeling. The reason we're doing this today, we have realized, we did this justice survey. I hope a lot of you took part in this justice survey, but we were asking, what are the kinds of organizations that you're involved with? What are the organizations that you think our congregation could be more involved with in the community? And we got lots and lots and lots of responses. And what we realized is that people here are doing all kinds of work week in and week out with the organizations that spark their individual passions. It might not be something the whole congregation does, but we are a congregation of people who go out and do things to create a better world in the community. And so sometimes it's helpful for us to take a moment and be still and regather our resources so that we can go back out and do that meaningful work. And so the way that we're beginning today is with feeling our feelings. And that's tough for some of us. It's tough for some of us when we're young. It's tough for some of us when we get older. We don't really know how to identify what we feel sometimes. So if you are one of those people that says, I don't know what I'm feeling, there's a real easy, four things that we go back to that are basic emotions. And we can say, I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm glad, or I'm scared. I don't know why the scared one doesn't rhyme and the other three do. I didn't make up the little thing. But mad, sad, glad, or scared, some people would say are kind of the four basic emotions that we go back to. And maybe from there we can say, well, it's not really sad, it's this other thing. But it gives us a place to start if you're not used to identifying what you're feeling. And what I have found, when I take a moment and identify what it is that I am feeling in a moment, sometimes I realize that I'm wrong. I might think, I'm feeling really angry right now, and if I sit with it for a moment, I realize, actually, I'm not angry so much as I am really hurt by something that somebody has done or said. And it comes out as anger because that feels a little safer. Being angry about something sometimes feels safer to us than feeling hurt or feeling abandoned by somebody. That can be a really painful emotion, feeling like we're really vulnerable. And so for some of us, when we start identifying our emotions and we sit with it for a moment, we can realize there's more to it than what we even realized. It's not that we're hiding it from other people. We're protecting ourselves from feeling things deeply. And so this welcoming reflection today is going to begin by just taking a moment to feel what we are feeling deeply, fully, completely. We're not going to judge it. We're not going to try to change it. Our emotions just are what they are. We don't have to do anything about it. There's nothing wrong with anything that you came in the door feeling today. So we're going to take just a moment and just feel what we feel, and then we'll go into a sung meditation, which is Find a Stillness, and Mike will just lead us into that after we take a moment to feel our emotions. One of my feelings is embarrassment because I didn't cue Peggy the way I said I would, and then gratitude because she rang the bell anyway. So we start with that space of feeling what we feel. You know what? If you want to take the teal hymnal and just put your thumb in number 1013, then you'll have it ready for after this next little piece. You might have to ask someone from the middle of the pew to pass it down, because sometimes we wind up with hymnals that congregate together in places. The next piece of this welcoming reflection is the welcoming part, where we welcome reality as it is. There might be things that we want to change. There might be things that we see in the world that are not the way that we wish they would be. There might be things in our lives that are not how we wish they would be, especially when it comes to the way other people are behaving. There might be things that we do not want to accept. And yet this reflection says things are what they are. The present moment is as it is. And if I can welcome that, then I can open space for change. If I am resisting what's happening right now, then it's going to be really difficult for me to grow and move forward. It doesn't mean that things are always going to be what they are right now. It means that we're going to welcome reality as it is. Some people might say that we are going to welcome what God is doing right now. That may not work for you. That's okay. We're going to welcome reality as it is. We're going to welcome the work of the Spirit, even though we don't understand it. There's lots of ways that we can frame it in whatever spiritual language works for you. But I invite you to just mindfully, you can kind of repeat this along, or you can just say it in your mind, or you can just sit with it. We say, welcome, welcome, welcome. I welcome everything that comes to me today because I know it is useful to me in my journey. I welcome all thoughts, feelings, and emotions. I welcome all persons, situations, and conditions. I welcome reality as it is in this moment, even as I welcome the possibility for change. I'll read those words one more time. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I welcome everything that comes to me today because I know it is useful to me in my journey. I welcome all thoughts, feelings, and emotions. I welcome all persons, situations, and conditions. I welcome reality as it is in this moment, even as I welcome the possibility for change.
let me be part of the love you give. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give.
You probably know the next song that we're going to sing, but it's Meditation on Breathing, and it's just a few pages earlier in that teal hymnal, 1009. If you want to put your thumb there. When we get ready to sing it, you can participate in that however you want. But we will take a moment at the end of the reflection to do our Joy and Concerns stones. So we haven't forgotten about that. We're just putting it at another place in the service. Because the last part of this welcoming prayer is letting go of attachment. Because the thing that keeps us from welcoming reality, from welcoming what God is doing in the world, from welcoming the possibility for change, for however you want to frame it, the challenge that we have in welcoming is that we are attached to how things have to be. We're afraid that things aren't going to go in a way that we want them to, and we hang on to it. We say, I need things to go this way. And so the last piece of this welcoming reflection is letting go of attachment. And I'm going to say some words that are going to really spike your anxiety a little bit, because I'm going to say things like, I release my attachment to survival and security. And in your mind, there's going to be a part of you that says, wait a second, I need to be attached to survival. I want to survive. That's something that's important to me. Releasing our attachment to something is not the same as saying we're going to release our need for it. It means I'm going to release how tightly I hold on to how this has to happen. If I release my attachment to acceptance and affection, it doesn't mean I don't need affection anymore. We're human beings. We need meaningful touch. It's one of the things that's been really hard during the pandemic, because we need that in our lives. We can't just say, I'm done with that. But if I release my attachment to it, it means I'm not going to make demands on how that has to happen in my life. I'm going to be open to how that comes to me. I'm going to be open to receiving what life has to offer me. I'm going to welcome that rather than making demands on how it has to play out. So in this piece of the welcoming prayer, we're going to release attachment as much as you are willing, and we're going to open ourselves to what the universe has to offer us, what life has to offer us, what God has to offer us. And if there's a time that you want to come up and put a stone in the water for what you are releasing, I invite you to do that. If you have other concerns or joys that you want to put a stone in the water about, you can put a stone in the water for that today. But today, more than any other week perhaps, is an opportunity for you to put a stone in the water for something that you are releasing your attachment to today. So again, I invite you to participate in whatever way makes sense to you as I read these words. I'll read them so that you can repeat them back in your mind or out loud if you wish, but you don't have to do that. I let go of my attachment to power and control. I let go of my attachment to affection and pleasure. I let go of my attachment to esteem and approval. I let go of my attachment to survival and security. I let go of my attachment to how change must happen. I let go of my attachment to how I must change. I open to connection with my innermost being. And I open to the guidance of my life-affirming values. I'll read those words one more time. I'm going to change out some of the language for the divine. You can use whatever language in your mind makes sense to you. I let go of my attachment to power and control. I let go of my attachment to affection and pleasure. I let go of my attachment to esteem and approval. I let go of my attachment to survival and security. I let go of my attachment to how change must happen. I let go of my attachment to how I must change. I open myself to connection with the divine. And I open to the guidance of the Spirit in my life. When we begin with meditation on breathing, I invite you to come forward and place a stone in the water. We'll take just a moment for reflection before we do that.
As Reverend Randy said, you can participate in any way that you'd like. If you just want to breathe, you can just breathe. If you'd like to sing one of the lines that you see there on the page, you can sing that, or switch around, or make up your own, or just let it wash over you. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. when I breathe in. I'll breathe in peace when I breathe out. I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
We also place a stone today for good healing energy for Phil Dell, Steve's father. He's in the hospital for tests and possible surgery. Healing energy to Phil. Healing energy also for Erica Brown as she recovers from a small heart attack last week. Healing energy for Erica. And a stone of appreciation for the members of the congregation who consciously reduced their food waste in April and who donated many bags. There was a lot of food, y'all. We donated many bags to the Hunger Center's Shaker Heights Pantry. and gratitude to the team that worked hard to bring that initiative to the congregation. A stone for all of the joys and concerns that our online participants have put in the chat. And a stone for those attachments we know we need to let go of, but we aren't quite ready. I hope that today in our service you have felt a sense of peace, connection with yourself or the divine or both, maybe ready to be more connected with the larger world around you in a meaningful way. Our closing hymn is number 161 in the gray hymnal, Peace, the Perfect Word. And I invite you now to rise in body or spirit as we sing together. When I was getting ready to talk about emotions, I was going to say sometimes we feel our emotions on our face before we can really even identify them. And I was going to let some of the young people show me their mad face and their sad face and their glad face. And then I realized a lot of our young people are still masking because it's the safest thing for them to be doing. And so much of our face gets hidden by the mask. And so I know that that's still a challenge for a lot of us. But here's what our COVID covenant is. Here's where we are with it right now. Masks are optional when you are in a room with folks 5 and over. If you're in a room with younger folks, we ask that you be masked while interacting with them because they can't be vaccinated yet. But masks are optional. We are still requesting that you have a mask with you because if you're in a small group and somebody says, I prefer we be masked, we're hoping that you'll honor that request because some folks live with people that are immunocompromised and they're taking extra precautions, and we want to make sure that we honor the requests of folks. But in Our basic baseline is that masks are optional. And we have a lot of things happening today. You may find different preferences in different spaces even today. We have Carol Ginsert's Celebration of Life this afternoon at 3 o'clock. I hope to see a lot of you there for that as we finally celebrate Carol Ginsert's life. We have a Considering Membership class at 12:30. I know I'm going to see some of you there for that. Also, downstairs, there are a lot of things happening in the fellowship hall. You know that our auction is on May 21st. The deadline to donate items for that is May 15th, and there's going to be a table downstairs where you can talk to somebody and get more information about the auction. Also, we are partners with FDR Academy. It's been kind of quiet the past couple of years, I understand, but this partnership has a 5-year history with this school, and we hope that it continues for years to come. This spring, what FDR Academy needs from us is for us to be a little artistic. They're going to be performing the musical 101 Dalmatians on May 27th, and our congregation will be painting the scenery and props. I am speaking to you. I am not speaking to the person 3 pews in front of you. Our congregation will be painting scenery and props. So we're holding a painting party at FDR on Saturday, May 7th, just around the corner, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sign up is at coffee hour downstairs in the fellowship hall. Just look for the FDR sign. Oh, and Lori will be there. She's pointing. She's going to be the one doing that. Also, Side with Love T-shirts are still available. Suzanne Zilber is still going to be in the fellowship hall. I saw her. She's back there in the striped shirt. If you have not gotten your order in yet for a Side with Love T-shirt with our congregation's logo on the back, you can still put that order in today. And while you're there, ask Suzanne about the Poor People's Campaign, which is a moral movement to confront the interlocking evils of systemic racism, poverty, ecological devastation, militarism, and religious nationalism. We already have a contingent from this congregation planning to travel to Washington, D.C. on June 18th. This is a movement that is supported by the Unitarian Universalist Association, and there is still room for you to be a part of that. But there are a lot of other ways you can participate as well, and Suzanne can tell you all about that. There's a lot going on. We had an 8th principle survey that just was taking the pulse of folks to say, if we were to vote right now, would you say yes to supporting the 8th principle? Would you say yes enthusiastically to supporting the 8th principle? Do you have some reservations? Would you say no? Everybody who has responded to that survey has said yes, or that they would vote yes enthusiastically. And so if you are... It hasn't happened yet. Wait for the annual meeting and show up to the annual meeting. If you haven't responded to that survey and you've got some reservations or something and you've just been delaying that survey is still up and it's in the weekly newsletter. But everybody who has either sent one in or responded online has been enthusiastic about it or would say yes. 160 congregations thus far have supported the 8th principle, and we've got a lot of local congregations that are voting on it this year. West Shore, Kent, and some other local congregations are moving forward with the 8th principle. So we are right in line with a lot of our sister congregations. But we're going to vote at the annual meeting, and you'll see more news about that coming out soon. Last thing for this morning. I do not know if we have any Ukrainian congregants or anyone in the congregation who speaks Ukrainian or Russian, but there is a family coming here. They're here in Cleveland, coming from Costa Mesa, California. The father in the family has a job, but they are looking for a place to stay. It's a family of 6, and they got out of Ukraine through California and now are here among us in our community, and we can help them. They just need a place to stay, and if someone speaks Russian or Ukrainian, that'll be easier, although Yuri does speak a little English. But talk to me today after the service if you would like to help out this family just finding a place to stay. They're living in a hotel right now, and they're looking for some place to settle more permanently. So much. You guys are doing so much. I think that's it. Let's move on to our benediction. Isn't that the next thing? Go in peace and with courage to carry forward your sense of welcome into the world around you so that you can embrace reality as it is and not let it stay as it is. Go with peace and courage today.
If you would please pick up the yellow card and join me in the words of the extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Today's postlude is May Your Life Be As a Song. The words are in your order of service for the refrain, and if the Spirit moves you, I hope you'll sing along with us when we get to that part. You'll know it when we get there. My wish for you as now we part is for greater peace within your heart, with dreams as vast as starry space, so hurt and anger know no place. May truth be shared and wounds be healed, and joy for living be revealed. Through every fate and circumstance, may hope lead weary steps to dance, and may your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. May fears be turned with keen insight to wisdom for what's just and right. Where sorrow grows, compassion strong, and pains will pass before too long. May the bounds of our diversity serve a richer harmony. May courage hold your heart so true to smile on love when it smiles on you. And may your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. One more time. And may your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night.
Thank you, choir. And I meant to mention, if you're joining us online and you're still here, like, share, subscribe. That's how we grow our ministry online, and Sharon would be really upset if I completely forgot it. So go in peace.